132 pages that are expected to change the life of the coffee farmer. While the farmer has often had to wait between 7 and 14 days, and sometimes even longer, to receive his pay, this report seeks to change that. It recommends cutting down the waiting time to 0 days, paying the farmer at least 40% of the value of his coffee as soon as the cherry is delivered. This means that the minimum advance payment that a farmer will get per kilo of his coffee is 15 shillings. This, of course, will be pegged on the market price. The story of the Kenyan coffee farmer follows the same script year in, year out, like a play that replays a scene over and over, boring the audience to death. The details never change. The farmer always remains trapped in shackles of poverty.
A coffee farmer, for example, who currently has no clue, no idea what his product actually gains in the international market. He just sits back and awaits for whatever shall come his way.
Wale watu wametuangamiza sana na ukulima wa kahawa ni miras. Na miras, tukitoa kahawa shambani tukienda kwa factory, tukifanya kila kitu kwa factory, alafu tunaweka lori tunawapelekea, hiyo ndio mwisho yetu. Hata wakiuza pesa gani, hatuwezi kujua ni pesa ngapi waliuza. Akituletea hata shilingi 10, hatuwezi kujua kama waliwapakiza 50.
Kama sasa nilikuwa na 6,000 kg ile nilishuna this time, na nilipwa 180,000. Nikitoa gharama ya input na ya labor, hiyo pesa ilibaki kitu kama 30,000. Mimi na bibi yangu sisi tuko kama watumwa. Hata watoto tukifanya hesabu nao wanacheka, wananiambia wachana na hii biashara mzee, itakuua.
It is this script that the government sought to rewrite to give it some life when the president formed a 19-member task force in early March. Chaired by Professor Joseph Keya, it was given the responsibility of investigating the coffee industry and recommending how to pull it back from the jaws of death. Most small-scale farmers rely heavily on the income of one season in order to finance the next crop. But when the incomes are low, then the general maintenance of the crop suffers significantly because the farmer just simply cannot afford to see the crop through to maturity. And what happens is that the yields then drop drastically. The report recommends that an input subsidy program be set up at a cost of 1.21 billion shillings in the 2016-2017 financial year and 2.47 billion shillings in the next 2 financial years. This subsidy will only cover farmers with less than 20 acres of coffee, intended to boost their production from the current 2 kgs per tree to at least 10 kilograms per tree. The report also recommends a debt waiver for cooperative societies to enable the recovery of the subsector. Incidentally, 2.4 billion shillings has already been allocated for this in the budget that was read on Wednesday, 1.4 billion shillings more than it was allocated last year. The task force also wants 200 million shillings set aside for coffee marketing activities to increase its popularity. This marketing will be done mostly through direct sales, which make up to 10% of coffee sales. The target here is to grow direct sales from 10 to 30% in the next 3 years.
Pia huko ngambo tunasikia bei iko juu sana ya kahawa. Wale wanaendaga huko watoto wetu na mandugu zetu ngambo, wanatuambia kikombe ya kahawa inatokanga 700 shillings. Na hapa hiyo kilo moja wanatunulia shilingi 30.
One of the biggest complaints that farmers have always had is the cross-listing of ownership, such that the marketing agent also doubles up as the miller and the dealer. This is because when one entity plays all these roles, their interests are definitely not the farmers. In order to remove this cross-ownership and cartel behavior, the report recommends that the law be reviewed to deter this along the coffee chain.
You do not want to declare the correct price here. So you export the same product to yourself. So you become an importer of your coffee. And when you import it now to Geneva, you are now free to now sell it to whoever you want. What is the effect of this? First, people don't see what your price is here. But more importantly, to the economy of Kenya, is they don't pay tax.
When the coffee goes to a factory, a milling statement is issued. The statement indicates the weight of the coffee delivered, the milling loss, and the final weight milled. This milling loss, though, has been a bone of contention, with farmers accusing millers of exaggerating the numbers. To fix the problem, the task force has recommended that the Coffee Directorate publishes annual tariffs and other charges before the end of each September. This will control the pricing, and farmers will also be able to know how much they are charged by millers. The Nairobi Coffee Exchange forms a key part of the coffee business, and there has been a lot of concern that shady business happens on the floor, resulting in much lower income for the farmer. As a result, the task force has recommended that the NCE be converted into a public limited company. The implementation of these recommendations is expected to begin in the next 1 month, and already the president has set up an implementing team. Some of the recommendations, however, will need to go through Parliament, such as the amendments to the Crops Act of 2013, converting the coffee exchange into a public company, and the review of the Cooperatives Act of 2012. Zeynab Wandati, NTV, for Food Friday.